Welcome back. So we're going to take a look at the St. Louis Blues and what they're going to be able to do this year. Because the thing is, they won the Cup of 2019, 2020. They ran into Jacob Markstrom and the Canucks and found themselves out in what was the first round of the playoffs. So they're going to be looking for a measure of revenge this year. And they're in the right division to do it. I'll be honest, the record against teams in this division, pretty good. But there looks to be three teams that likely are fighting for first between St. Louis, Vegas, and Colorado. They look to be the three best teams in this division. Now, over the last three seasons, they had 94 points in 2017-2018, 99 points 2018-2019 when they won the Cup, and projected out over 82 games, they would have had 109 points with the pace they were on this past season. So they had a very strong regular season, and then in the return, it just wasn't as strong. So for St. Louis, now it's a matter of trying to, prove, okay, we've still got this. The interesting part is going to be what they've lost. They've lost Pietrangelo, and they've done their best to replace Pietrangelo, but I don't know you can replace him necessarily. You're just trying to absorb that loss. Jake Allen, they lose out of the net. Now, if Husso is a really good backup goaltender, they're solid. If they don't end up having a reliable backup, losing Jake Allen's going to hurt. Jay Bouwmeester, of course, not playing. His heart condition, I would think, would preclude him from any further NHL games. Troy Brouwer, and of course, recently retired Alex Steen, all of them being off the roster. So there's experience that's gone. There's definitely some players there who were a decent part of what got them to the Stanley Cup of 2019, whether it's Bouwmeester, Pietrangelo, Steen. So this is the thing, right? Now they have to absorb those losses and have to show, yeah, we can stay at or near the top, and then in the playoffs we can do it again. The Hockey News, for their power ranking, they have them at 6th in the National Hockey League, which is fair. Sports Forecaster had them 2nd in the Central. I have them 3rd in the West. I have them behind Colorado and Vegas. But it's going to be interesting to see where they end up. This is a team that, again, it could go either way. They could have another great season like they just had. They could absorb these losses perfectly fine and just keep rolling, or we could see some kind of a clawback. Now, in the too low category, this is where these guys need to step up. Now is the time for Jordan Kyrou to prove that the believers, myself included, are right. 28 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points last year. So St. Louis brings their prospects along slowly. And so Kyrou, I would expect, would be given more responsibility this year, more ice time, and maybe Costin starts to get worked into the lineup as well. Robert Thomas, 66 games, 10 goals, 32 assists, 42 points. Cannot praise this kid more. He's fantastic, and he is much like Kyrou. They bring him along slowly, and all of a sudden, hey, the guy's top 6. He's going to be great. And then Falk. With the departure of Pietrangelo, more is going to be expected from Falk, especially with that contract. 69 games, 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points. They're going to want some more offense from him. Now, they did, with their big additions, add Torrey Krug, right? So Krug becomes, and at 29, he's not an older defenseman, but you know what you're getting with him. You're getting a guy who's excellent on the power play, 5-on-5, make sure he's protected, but he can run that power play for them. And they added Kyle Clifford, which is a little bit of toughness up front, and we'll see how that goes for him and for them. Now, the offense that Krug's going to be a part of, in goals for, St. Louis, surprisingly average, 3.14 goals per game, which was 14th. But their goals against was excellent, 2.68, 5th overall. So without Bouwmeester, without Pietrangelo, they're going to be counted upon now with the rest of that group to try to turn things up. Parayko should be playing a greater role. Power play was 3rd last year. So Krug's jumping onto a pretty good power play. 24.26% on the power play, their penalty kill. A little bit below average at 79.31% for 18th in the National Hockey League. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if those numbers stay consistent. If they can keep that good power play, maybe pick up the penalty kill a bit, right? Their core 6. So, looking for younger players, and Kyrou eventually is going to be that guy. But honestly, they're not that old. This is not like where you see a lot of guys who are 32, 33, 34. if you're looking for a team that has won a Stanley Cup that might win another one in 2021, St. Louis is still close enough, and these guys are still young enough. Schwartz, O'Reilly, and I have Thomas in the core six because I think Thomas is already showing with his 42 points last year in 66 games. He's going to be a key guy. On the blue line, Krug and Parayko are, I think, the key guys. I don't know if they necessarily play together. It could be fun to see them together. And, of course, in net is Bennington. That's your core for St. Louis. And Bennington's going to need to have a bounce-back year. He was good. Bennington was good, but he was not the world beater that he was the year before. And then against Vancouver, Vancouver clearly had a book on him. They knew where to shoot on him. They knew what his weaknesses were. And this now is where the rubber meets the road for Bennington, where he shows that he's going to get back to the top, that he's going to fix those issues that he had in the playoffs. Or, again, sometimes goaltenders will do that. They come into the league, they're just great. Team gets a book on them, that gets around the NHL. And if a goaltender can adapt, they may have a short career. If a goaltender can adapt, I'm not saying Bennington can't, but if he can adapt, he can take over again. Their coach, Craig Berube, much beloved, understandably so. Very personable guy, was always a personable guy as well as a hockey player. Their GM, Doug Armstrong, does a very good job year after year of making sure this team's competitive and that they're a contender, and has done a decent job of replacing Pietrangelo. It is not easy to replace Pietrangelo. Not only that, but the amount of money Pietrangelo was given by Vegas, I totally understand St. Louis not wanting to give him that kind of money in term, because that's the kind of contract that would force them to move other players and perhaps erode their roster a bit. Glass half full, these are the 2019 champions, and they're still about the same as they were then in terms of their overall team. Now, again, losing Petro is going to hurt. Maybe Krug makes up for that, and maybe Parayko taking that next step helps as well. The vets on this team, most of the veterans are not over the age of 30. You're not looking at a gray-bearded team that is on the downside. You're looking at some guys who are still relatively young, very good core players. Yeah, this is still a pretty solid team. But glass half empty, it's going to be hard to repeat what they did last year. And though this division is going to be, I mean, I don't want to say easy, but they should be a playoff team. I can't see them not being in the playoffs. It is going to be a long year for them. The travel I'm not overly concerned with. We've already started to see confirmation now it's going to be every series is going to be back-to-back series. So since you're not traveling after every game, you're spending 2 games in each city, travel becomes less of an issue. But it is going to be hard for them to repeat what they did last year. Now, for a rookie to watch, Scott Perunovich, which, of course, if I don't mention him in this, St. Louis fans will be like, you didn't mention Perunovich. Perunovich may very well step into that top 6. I don't think he ends up in the top 4 right out of the gate, but he's a defensive prospect that could help. Again, it's about absorbing those minutes and that loss of the guys you've lost on the blue line, both Bouwmeester and Pietrangelo. And Perunovich is going to be counted on at least for a little bit of that. Obviously not the lion's share of it, but a little bit of that. Now, the next big hype for me is Jake Neighbors. Jake Neighbors, who was taken late in the first round, and there was some debate about where he might end up, where he may go. As a power forward, the nice thing with Neighbors is, at the very least, at his bottom level, he's going to be a National Hockey League player. And since he's been drafted by St. Louis, and as I said, they took their time with Kyrou and Thomas, there's no reason they won't take their time with him as well. But I'm saying right now that he is probably going to be the next hype for them, because to me, Kostin is already getting that hype, and I think Kostin makes the team this year. Now, their record, when you look at month after month last year, they were remarkably consistent. January was a bit of a down month, but for a down month, it was pretty good. October, they were 7-3-3. November, 10-2-3. December, 9-4. January, 5-4-2. February, 8-4-2. And March, they were 3-2. So they weren't below 500 in any given month. Pretty solid all around. And then you look at the record against teams in their division. Not too shabby. Against Anaheim, 2-1. Against Arizona, 1-1-1. Against Colorado, they were 2-2. Against LA, they were 2-0. Against Minnesota, they were 3-0. Against San Jose, they were 2-0. And against Vegas, they didn't lose in regulation. They lost 2 in extra time, so they ended up 1-0-2. So against their own division, their combined record 13-4-3. That's a solid record. If they can repeat that, if every 20 games they record 13 wins, you may be looking at the team that ends up winning this division. They're going to be solid, and I think, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a bargain bet on who might win a Stanley Cup, you could do worse than St. Louis. Let's just say right now you could do worse than St. Louis. The Blues, they have what they need, and again, it's about being able to take those losses and, you know, spread around that ice time between likely some of the kids, obviously Krug and Clifford being added, and go from there. But they're still in the mix. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding the St. Louis Blues and their chances. Could they come back in 2021 and win themselves a Stanley Cup? Or is that already done? They're already a one and done. The losses are going to be too much. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.